Hello dear students, from the subject Engineering Chemistry, unit number 4 is fuels. Fuels are the substances which produces large amount of heat on combustion. Based on the physical states, fuels are of three types: solid fuels, liquid fuels and gaseous fuels. From solid fuels, the well-known example is coal. From liquid fuels, petroleum or crude oil is there. Petrol, diesel, kerosene are the few other examples of liquid fuels. And from gaseous fuels, natural gas, compressed natural gas, liquefied natural gas are the gaseous fuels. In today's video, in today's session, we are going to study coal, and from coal, ultimate analysis of coal. In that, we'll focus on estimation of carbon and hydrogen. Let us first see what is mean by coal, or from what elements the coal is made of. Friends, coal is highly carbonous matter formed from the buried plant matter. This plant matter got buried in soil, got buried in earth crust many years ago during the volcanoes and upheavals. During these geological and biological changes, plant matter got buried in soil, got buried in earth crust, and continuous process in presence of heat and pressure, that plant matter undergoes coalification, and by the process of coalification plant matter gets converted to the highly carbon rich matter. This highly carbon rich matter is nothing but the coal. So simply we can define the coal is a highly carbonous matter formed from the buried plant matter which got buried during geological and biological changes, and by the process of coalification this plant matter gets converted to coal. Coal is mainly composed of carbon element. Along with carbon, some other elements are also there, but their amount is very small. Other elements are like hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur and oxygen are present in coal. So basically coal is made up of 5 elements, out of which carbon is the key component, carbon is the main component of the coal. Along with the carbon, small variable quantities of hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur and oxygen are also present in coal. Friends, the process of coal formation takes place progressive conversion of plant matter into the coal, and during this progressive transformation the percentage of carbon increases. So based on the percentage of carbon, coal are of 4 types. There are 4 types of coal. The 4 types are peat, lignite, bituminous and anthracite. From peat to anthracite, the percentage of carbon increases and calorific value of the coal depends on carbon percentage. So as percentage of carbon from peat to anthracite increases, calorific value also increases. A calorific value is the measure of deciding the amount of heat obtained from a particular fuel. As the calorific value increases, the quality of the fuel also increases. So as the calorific value from peat to anthracite is increasing, the quality also increases. Based on that, anthracite is the highest grade coal, highest rank coal, whereas peat is the lowest quality coal, lowest grade coal. And quality of that coal also affects the price. Need for analysis of coal. What is the requirement of analysis? What is the need of analysis? Students, when coal is recovered from the coal mine, it may be of the type of peat or maybe of the type of lignite, bituminous or anthracite. To decide the type of the coal, to decide its quality, to decide its use for particular purpose, and to decide the price, coal needs to be analyzed. Earlier we have seen the 4 types of coal are based on the percentage of carbon, and if the percentage of carbon decides the quality, means we need to determine the percentage of carbon and percentage of other elements from the coal, as that will give us which type of coal is recovered from a particular coal mine. So these are the four main purposes for which the coal is analyzed. First one is to decide the type, to decide the quality of coal, to decide use, and to decide price of the coal. For these four things, generally the analysis of coal is there. Analysis of coal is of two types. Coal is analyzed by two methods. The two methods of analysis of coal are proximate analysis of coal and second one is ultimate analysis of coal. Friends, as coal is found in the earth crust, it is associated with some moisture, it is associated with some salts, minerals which remains unburnt on combustion of coal, so that comprises the ash. Coal also contains some carbon in the form of volatile matter. So overall composition of coal is classified in two categories: elemental composition and non-elemental composition. Elemental composition of the coal is, it contains which elements? It contains the elements like carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur and oxygen, and it contains non-elemental forms like moisture, volatile matter and ash. So these various things from the coal are analyzed under two methods: proximate analysis and ultimate analysis. Proximate analysis means it is the analysis in which percentage of moisture, volatile matter and ash is determined. That analysis is called as proximate analysis of coal. Ultimate analysis of coal is the analysis in which we determine the percentages of elements, that is percentage of carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur and oxygen. That type of analysis is called as ultimate analysis of coal. So basically this is the difference between proximate and ultimate analysis. Proximate analysis deals with the non-elemental composition of the coal and ultimate analysis deals with the analysis of elemental composition of the coal. Listen once again the definition for proximate and ultimate analysis. Proximate analysis is the analysis in which percentage of moisture, VM and ash is determined. Ultimate analysis of coal is the analysis in which percentage of elements, that is carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur and oxygen is determined, is ultimate analysis. In this video, in this session, we are going to see only ultimate analysis of coal. Ultimate analysis of coal definition. Already earlier we have seen the definition. The analysis of coal in which percentages of carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur and oxygen are determined is called as ultimate analysis of coal. This analysis is also called as elemental analysis. Now there are various elemental analysis of carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur and oxygen is carried out by different methods. For carbon and hydrogen same method is used. For nitrogen different method is there. For sulfur different method is there. Carbon and hydrogen are estimated by combustion apparatus method. Nitrogen percentage is determined by Geldahl experiment method and sulfur percentage is determined by Bompot experiment method. Oxygen percentage is determined by subtraction method, that is the percentages of carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur are subtracted from 100. So for carbon and hydrogen, for nitrogen, for sulfur different methods are there. In this video we are going to study only estimation of carbon and hydrogen. Friends, point to remember is analysis of coal, ultimate analysis of coal is the analysis in which we determine percentage of carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur and oxygen. Carbon and hydrogen are determined by same experiment, whereas nitrogen by Geldahl experiment and sulfur by Bompot experiment method. Here we will see only estimation of carbon and hydrogen. For determination of percentage of carbon and hydrogen, principle involved is very simple. The principle is during combustion of the coal, carbon from coal gets converted to carbon dioxide and hydrogen from coal gets converted to water vapors. These gaseous product, carbon dioxide and water vapors, formed are absorbed in KOH solution and CaCl2 solution. KOH solution is capable of absorbing CO2 gas and anhydrous CaCl2 solution is capable of absorbing H2O vapors. So from the mass of from the weight of CO2 and H2O formed, we can find out the percentage of carbon and hydrogen in coal. So simply you can remember the principle as carbon from coal during combustion forms CO2, hydrogen from coal during combustion forms water vapors. CO2 and water vapors are absorbed in KOH solution and CaCl2 solution respectively. The purpose of absorbing them in this solution is for knowing their masses, what mass of them is formed, and by knowing their masses formed we can find out the percentage of carbon and hydrogen in coal. So this is the principle of determination of carbon and hydrogen. The process involved here is mentioned here. This method requires a combustion apparatus. The combustion apparatus diagram is shown here. The combustion apparatus consists of a combustion chamber, combustion tube, and there is a container or there is a platinum boat for the purpose of holding the coal sample. There is a burner to burn the coal sample, and there is entry for pure and dry oxygen. There are two U-tubes. The first U-tube contains anhydrous CaCl2 and second U-tube contains KOH solution. These two U-tubes are attached to this apparatus and these two U-tubes are pre-weighed, means they are previously weighed. Their weight is taken before the experiment. So process is in the beginning a known weight, the coal sample whose carbon and hydrogen percentage is to be determined, that coal sample its initial weight is taken. A known weight of air dried coal sample is kept here in the combustion chamber, and that known weight of coal sample is burnt in presence of pure oxygen. By providing the pure oxygen, dry oxygen, that known weight of coal sample is burnt here. So during its burning, during its combustion, C from that coal will form CO2 and H from that coal will form H2O. These CO2 and H2O are allowed to pass first through an U-tube containing anhydrous CaCl2 and then through other U-tube containing KOH solution. Friends, we know that anhydrous CaCl2 is capable of absorbing H2O vapors and KOH U-tube is capable of absorbing CO2 gas. So after complete combustion of the coal has taken place, these two U-tubes are again detached from this device. These two are removed and again their weight is taken. After the experiment is over, the weight of this U-tube is taken. So it is observed that there is increase in weight of these two U-tubes. The increase in weight of anhydrous CaCl2 U-tube is because of H2O absorbed, and increase in weight of KOH U-tube is because of CO2 absorbed. So that increase in weight of these two U-tubes will give the amount of CO2 and H2O formed, the mass of CO2 and H2O formed. The increase in weight of anhydrous CaCl2 U-tube will give us the mass of H2O vapors formed, and the increase in weight of KOH U-tube will give us the mass of CO2 formed during the combustion of the coal, from which the percentage of carbon and hydrogen is to be determined. This is the process for carbon and hydrogen estimation. Listen once again. There is a combustion chamber, combustion apparatus which consists of a burner. There is a container inside that chamber for holding the coal sample. There is the entry for inlet of pure and dry oxygen. There are two U-tubes. First contains anhydrous CaCl2 solution and second contains KOH solution. Anhydrous CaCl2 solution is capable of absorbing H2O vapors and KOH solution is capable of absorbing CO2 gas. In the beginning, these two U tubes are weighed. These two are pre-weighed. A known weight of powdered and air-dried coal sample is kept in this boat and allowed to burn in presence of pure and dry oxygen. So during burning, during combustion, carbon from coal will form CO2, hydrogen from coal will form H2O vapors. These CO2 and H2O vapors are allowed to pass through first anhydrous CaCl2 U tube where H2O vapors will be absorbed, and then through KOH U tube where CO2 gas will be absorbed. By absorption of these gases, these U tubes weight will increase, and after the coal has completely burnt, these two U tubes are removed from here and their weight is taken again. It is observed that there is increase in weight, and the increase in weight is because of absorption of H2O gas by this CaCl2 U tube and CO2 gas by this KOH U tube. From the mass of H2O and CO2 formed, we can find out the percentage of carbon and hydrogen in coal. Increase in weight of CO2, the weight of CO2 formed will give the percentage of carbon, and the weight of H2O formed will give the percentage of hydrogen. The reactions taking place during combustion are shown here. Carbon combines with oxygen during combustion forms CO2 gas. The atomic mass of the carbon is 12 gram and molar mass of that of the CO2 is 44 gram. So if there is 12 gram of carbon in the coal, during combustion it will form 44 gram of CO2. In case of hydrogen, the reaction is H2 plus half O2 giving H2O. So these are the balanced chemical equations for carbon and hydrogen during combustion. The molar mass of hydrogen is 2 gram and that of water is 18 gram. This means what? During combustion, 2 gram of hydrogen combines with oxygen forming 18 gram of water vapors. 12 gram of carbon combines with oxygen to form the 44 gram of carbon dioxide. Two more reactions are shown here. The reaction of CO2 with KOH and the reaction of H2O with CaCl2. These two reactions are for the purpose of showing how CO2 and H2O are absorbed by KOH and CaCl2 U tube. CO2 is absorbed by KOH by forming K2CO3 and H2O, and H2O is absorbed by anhydrous CaCl2 leading to the formation of hydrated CaCl2. This is showing the reactions of their absorption in those respective U tubes. Formulae for percentage of carbon. Now the formula contains what? 12 by 44, 12 divided by 44 for carbon percent, 12 by 44. This 12 by 44 came from this stoichiometric chemical equation. 12 gram carbon gives 44 gram of CO2. So this 12 by 44 is there. Increase in weight of KOH U tube. Increase in weight of KOH U tube means weight of CO2 formed divided by weight of coal sample taken for analysis into 100. So this 100 is for getting the percentage. So formula for carbon percentage is what? 12 by 44 into increase in weight of KOH U tube upon weight of coal taken into 100. This increase in weight of KOH U tube is the weight of CO2 gas formed. Hydrogen percentage is 2 by 18. This 2 by 18 came from here. 2 gram of hydrogen gives 18 gram of water. So 2 by 18 into increase in weight of CaCl2 U tube upon weight of coal sample taken into 100. Now this increase in weight of CaCl2 is the weight of H2O vapors formed. 100 is for the purpose of percentage. Now these two formulae gives the percentage of carbon and hydrogen. Listen the formulae for carbon and hydrogen once again. Carbon percentage is equal to 12 by 44. This 12 by 44 came from this equation into increase in weight of KOH, that is weight of CO2 formed divided by weight of coal taken for analysis into 100. Similarly, percentage of hydrogen is 2 by 18 into increase in weight of CaCl2 U tube, that is weight of H2O vapors formed, divided by weight of coal sample taken for analysis into 100. From this we'll get the percentage of carbon, and from that we can determine the type of the coal, and from the type we can also decide its quality, we can also decide its use, and mainly we can decide the price of the coal for its trading. As earlier told, as percentage of carbon increases, calorific value of the coal increases, its quality increases, and its price also increases. Based on the percentage of carbon, previously we have seen there are four types of coal: peat, lignite, bituminous, and anthracite. So obviously for peat, percentage of carbon will be less, and for that of anthracite it will go on increasing. This is about estimation of carbon and hydrogen. Thank you all of you.